Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back from the ad break. You are still watching Prime Life. Now, this evening, we are joined by Tebogo, Shaakir the Cyclist, Galagala, who is an auto technician, a cyclist enthusiast, and who has dedicated his life to making urban cycling accessible and inclusive for all. Now, raised in Soweto, Tebogo's love for bicycles and desire for positive social change led him to co found Biking Bandits, an urban cycling club and cycling boutique, which is a business promoting cycling as a safe, sustainable mode of transportation. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah so much for joining us and welcome to Prime Life.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Now, can you please tell us about the journey that led you to start Biking Bandits and the cycling boutique?
Well, first and foremost, to start off with, bicycling and cycling was just a therapeutic thing for me that I would do on weekends where I would just jump on my bike, ride around literally the township, just, de-stressing from the weekend or the week, how it was. Meeting a business partner of mine, which is the Selani Mashele, and literally from there on, we said, look, how about we actually make this an interesting hobby and something that people could actually explore with us in what we feel from cycling. So from there on, it grew to numbers and many years, which we are now in our fifth year.
Fifth, yeah, that's very impressive. So growing up, were you always someone that's into bicycles, a biker?
Well, I would say actually a bicycle was always there. However, it's something that you don't take into mind how far it could take you. As boys go Soweto or any other townships, you will have bicycles playing around, playing together, but little do you know how far actually it could take you and becoming part of my destiny right now. And further much more, I think I thought it was a phase that I was passing, but now it's actually a passion. So I'm actually cycling with more friends, meeting more friends, and creating communities and camaraderie amongst the people that I meet. So it's becoming more and more interesting in better years that I actually progress into it.
That is so impressive.
Yeah.
Now, also as an advocate for inclusive urban cycling, you've
Yes.
also launched initiatives like Girls on Bikes. This was to, make cycling safer for women. How, maybe can you share your vision into how you think cycling can be used, or the cycling culture can improve to be more inclusive for other
Yes.
people, such as girls?
Look, honestly speaking, with Girls on Bikes as an initiative starting out, myself and Dee Selani, we wanted to create something for Karabo, which is Dee Selani's sister. She's the head and lead of Girls on Bikes.
Okay.
We wanted a safe space for her to cycle because the challenging factor that we're having in South Africa right now is how cycling is only seen as a sport or only male dominated. However, we want to now bring women within cycling and also for them to enjoy. Further, much more, not considering as a sport, but something as a leisure or just as something that you could do on a regular basis where you can just grab your bike, jump on the road, cycle with your friends, and meet other people. So creating a network and creating camaraderie is one of the biggest things. But it's as if it was only dedicated for men. However, we said no, women are allowed to also share the space within cycling, and that's why at this point we created this beautiful initiative, and it's growing like so beautifully. It's lovely seeing the women actually jumping on bikes.
All right, I can see the passion as you're speaking about it. Now, let's talk about, positive social change in Johannesburg, and that's what you're
Yes.
doing right now. Do you plan on expanding to other cities and other provinces?
That is our actual goal. We wish to expand further much more within the whole entire of South Africa, but also looking in other countries that actually are cycling friendly. You look in the eastern countries in Africa, their mode of transport is cycling. However, in South Africa, we are quite limited at it because we look at the infrastructure. Yesterday, fascinating that we do have the Homies Night Ride. I took the riders through the Bree Street as we faced an explosion in 2023. Yesterday we cycled through just to see the developments that have been done. And one of the challenging things, it's still not cycle friendly. So it's us actually coming together and making people aware that we need space as cyclists to cycle through together. However, in expanding and also the growth of cycling on its own, myself, Diselani, and Karabo, and the team that we have, like Sfiso and Jabulo in the shop, We try to host as many rides as we can, and these are social rides, by the way. However, we do have also a cycling club where also people who actually consider cycling as a sport can actually be a part of. But for those who actually want to have more of like an experience around the city of Johannesburg and cycling, we do invite them onto our social rides and just take them around the city. It's not that far. It's just like probably a 15-kilometer ride, estimated time of like 2 hours maximum, and just showing you how far and how you can go around the vicinity which you stay, or even, I would say, a lot of people would say, "Tebogo, ke dula ko Braamfontein. But how do I get to Rosebank?" And I say, you don't need to jump on the highway. There is actual roads that you can take in internal routes, how you can get to Rosebank, Maboneng, and further much more within the city of Johannesburg. So it's just bringing people together, cycling together, creating a a cycling community, just so that we can actually have the cycling space and people to be aware of us.
That's brilliant. And I think before you came on, we are speaking about the safety side of things, right? And I
Yes.
mentioned that, okay, besides the infrastructure and the fact that our roads are not accommodating to, cyclists, let's
Yes.
talk about the safety side of things. Because let's say, infrastructure improves and the government hears us and they make way for cyclists. Do you think as a country we'll ever get to a point where it's actually safe for women and just anybody else to be cycling and maybe use it as a mode of transport at some point?
I would be honest with you, starting the Girls on Bikes initiative, that was the idea of literally bringing women together. Because the most challenging part when we started was hearing a lot of women that they couldn't go running anymore because there would be a car stopping by, they're running by themselves. And we said, look, being on two wheels is much faster than being on two legs, right? And bringing women together, cycling as a group. So this means in some points to combat the safety issue, we need to come together as a nation and come together as, creating these groups. I love how I see the running groups, the cycling groups that are being formated now. It shows that people are trying to come together, also being safe amongst each other to cycle, run, walk, and so forth. In terms of safety in South Africa, myself, I cycle every day and I cycle these challenging streets of Hillbrow, Yeoville, Berea, and you can name it all. And I won't lie to you, I have my fingers crossed, also my toes, just that South Africa and also the law enforcement can take initiative in the safety of South Africa so that everybody could actually have a better living and also just be on the roads feeling safe and not having to worry at all.
I really hope that happens because I
Yeah.
mean this can be a solution to so many problems. Petrol is very expensive, right? If
Yeah.
it can be used as a mode of transport, I'm telling you, I'm getting a bike myself. But then there's people that are watching right now, and they're
Yes.
probably very inspired to do either girls on bikes or just also join the community of
Yes.
cyclists. Where do they start, and what are the requirements? And also for someone who's skeptical to say, no, I've never went on a bike before. Where do they start? What's your advice for them?
Look, throughout structuring the business over the 5 years, the very important and intricate part that we found out is that people underestimated cycling. And look, somebody can come and say, the last time I was on a bike was when I was 12, right? However, they need a refresher lesson. Some of them need to get on the bike for the first time. So how we had structured the whole business as itself, Bandits Bicycle Club being an umbrella, we did realize that we need to have the learn to cycle programs, which is something that we have started recently. So we teach people how to ride bicycles. As we are currently speaking, I'm teaching a 68-year-old woman how to ride a
Oh my
bicycle.
God.
And all that she's asking for is, I just want to ride on the promenade of Cape Town or Durban, right? But moving on to that, Girls on Bikes then becomes the second step where people can actually, which is women, also men are allowed if you do come with your partner or as a family to cycle there. It's much more for beginners. Then the Homies Night Ride is for those who are now willing to experience Joburg in a different perspective. And with that being, we do at times host rides in the afternoons, especially like on public holidays that we do have in South Africa, which we had a ride on Heritage Day. We do take people around the city to showcase the city, but further much more, we want to venture into tours where we now take people for rides around the city that they belong in, the roads that they always use, but as we say, combat also the issue of the economy in terms of fuel and prices and and everything. Saving, it's the biggest thing that I want to do. So getting on a bike, you can save too.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And just as we conclude our conversation, I want us to take it back a little bit on, how the year has been like. I don't want to focus more on what's coming, because I think you mentioning that you want to expand and turn it into like a whole touring thing gives us a little bit of a glimpse into saying, okay, you guys are planning on accommodating more people
Yes.
and making sure that this is something that's going to be happening also in the next coming 5 to 10 years. Now, I want us to just take it back on, January. Now we're in October. How has it been like? All the events that you have hosted, all the people that you have taught how to, ride a bike. How has it been like for you?
Well, for myself personally, it's been challenging, but as for the team, we've been doing our utmost best to actually get it to the top level. Um, as much as we say, everything is fluctuating. So at times it does go down, and in what the industry that we're in, which is cycling, it depends a lot on seasons. So which is summer, spring, we are good. Autumn, it starts to actually drop, and winter, people just want to be indoors. But surprisingly, with girls on bikes, oof, women lately, they like, no matter the weather, we are out there. And it was so impressive seeing women coming out also in winter to cycle, which inspired also other cyclists to come out. And I don't want to lie, this year it was not really that cold, though we're facing the global warming, but it was so impressive seeing people out. But throughout the year, look, we've been restructuring. We're trying to get the business up and running. The aim is for us to do 20 years. From 20 years, then it becomes a legacy for all the people in South Africa to keep on cycling. And for myself, I do look forward to South Africa becoming an eco-free country where people could just cycle to work and use bicycles on a daily basis. But yeah, we do hope for the best in South Africa and for ourselves as Bandits Bicycle Club, Girls on Bikes and Cycle Boutique.
I mean, this has been such an amazing conversation, Shaakir. So thank you so much for joining us and, for just giving us insight on the business itself and mostly motivating some of us. Like the last time I've been on a bike, maybe I was like probably, I don't know, like very young, right? So, but I have it in me to say, nah, I don't think I'll need lessons. I still remember. But inshallah, maybe we can come through and, join you and see exactly how it goes, goes on bikes so that we can be active, but just bring back the spirit of cycling into South Africa. So thank you so much for your time.
Jazakallah khair, and inshallah, we'll see you on the bike soon.
Inshallah, I mean, viewers at home, this was an amazing conversation that I just had now with Tebogo, Shaakir the Cyclist, and we were just talking about, the the art, or rather the sport of cycling, and how we can make sure that it's something that we as South Africans embrace and just practice, and making sure that our roads and our infrastructures are accommodating to cycling, just like other countries, man. We also want to cycle. But on that note, viewers at home, let's go to a quick ad break. We'll see you right after this.